I'm really excited today because I'm testing something that several of my viewers recommended to me, and thank you very much for that, VizMaker by VizAcademy. So here is what I will be putting to the test today. Exterior renders with 4 perspectives, and one of them is really tricky, plus 1 elevation. Interior renders with 2 spaces, and then animations made from our new renders. And finally, I will go through the pricing. And if you will be interested in testing VizMaker for yourself, you can actually start for free. Also, if you will be interested in the paid plan, you can get 50% off with my code Adrian50. Alright, so let's get started. If you're an architect, a designer, or even someone who enjoys a clean workflows, you probably know the pain of slow rendering engines, messy prompt writing, and external editing tools, and just general juggling of software that eats up your day. So today I wanted to see whether VizMaker actually solves some of these problems, and whether it's something I would use for my architectural projects. Now, before we generate anything, the first thing you notice is how simple the setup is. Alright, so let's load the first exterior view. As you can see, we have Nano Banana Pro, Flux, Magnific, Image to Video, and some experimental renderers. So for our first image, we'll go with Nano Banana Pro. And you don't need to prepare the prompts at all. And this alone removes such a huge barrier, because usually AI generating involves typing in long descriptions. Lighting style, camera style, materials, mood, realism, all of that. But here, VizMaker basically says,
pick a preset, I will handle the rest.
And this is genuinely refreshing, especially if you are on the tight schedule and you need something clean, quick, and consistent. From the resolution, I'm happy to go with 2K because that will provide quite a quick results while still keeping good quality. From the presets, I'm choosing View to Render, I will click Make, and actually I would like 2 images to be generated there, so I will click Make twice, and then we can compare the results. Now we've got the results, we have to click on the image and click Enlarge, so we can see it on the full screen. Oh wow, the results are amazing!
Wow!
Materials remain faithful to the model, especially the timber on the elevation. Lighting is balanced and doesn't overexpose the facade, and the shadows give it real depth. Also, the foliage looks clean, not overdone. And the contrast is crisp, without looking artificial. Let's go to the second image now, let's compare them. Alright, the second image is definitely not as good as the first one. So the first one will be our proper image to go forward. Right, but there is something I would like to amend, and that will be to add the people and some greenery to the balcony. So I'm going to the draw function and let's draw some people in red. Right, I'm not Picasso, that's not the best. But the AI should interpret that well.
Okay, I like it, Picasso.
So now in the prompt I'm describing, it should generate some people in the places of red elements, and in place of green there should be some potted plants. And let's see the results. Okay, I'm happy with the people, but not really with the plants, so let's change them a little bit. So again, in the draw function I'm highlighting that area in green, and let's put to the prompt what I would like to have. That's a good change, but not good enough. Let's change that again to something smaller and with the white pot. Okay, this is great, and that will be our final image. So here is how it looked before, and now look at the upgraded version. Now, before we generate our second image, I wanted to talk about how it actually works, because VizMaker is not browser-based. It runs as a separate program. So that means no lag from the web browsers, no worrying about losing the progress, and better performance overall. And if you are using SketchUp, Revit, or 3ds Max, you can use it as a plugin. So whatever software you prefer, it slides into workflow really easily. So now let's move on to our second image. As you can see, this is already made render. It was also photoshopped. So for this one, I wouldn't be choosing View to Render preset, but Add Realism preset. I'm choosing Nano Banana Pro rendering engine. Let's generate 2 images and let's see the results. Now we have to select the image, click on Enlarge to see it on the full screen. The shadows add some nice depth, and the lighting feels really balanced here. Nothing blown out or too flat. To be honest, I prefer the second image. It's more dramatic, the building pops up a little bit more. And the overall contrast makes the facade feel sharp and realistic. And you know what? Sometimes AI rendering tools are trying too hard, adding some elements to the model that weren't there in the first place. But this model seems to keep the architectural intent intact, which is honestly one of the most important things for me. Now, I would like to compare our original image to the new render. How can we do that? I'm just simply selecting our original image as compare A and our new render as compare B. I'm going to the compare section, and now you can see the result. Now what I would like to do is to remove that person in the foreground and add some more people to the scene. So I'm highlighting that person in green, describing that in the prompt, and let's see the results. Okay, that's great. Now to add people we can use two different prompts. Add people or blurred people. I can't really decide what I want, so I will use both. Right? Good result, but out of these two, I think I prefer more the normal people than the blurred one. This will be our final image, and now you can see the original image on the left and the enhanced one on the right. For our third render, I'm using a closer shot, so it looks more like the architectural detail. So I wanted to see how VizMaker handles that perspective, because some tools tend to bend the geometry slightly. So as before, I'm choosing View to Render preset. I will generate two images with Nano Banana Pro rendering engine. But also, just to compare, I will generate one image with Nano Banana engine, so we can compare the results between these two rendering engines. That's impressive! There is a nice balance between the architecture and the sky. Nothing oversaturated. It adds just enough atmosphere without changing the actual design. And the AI kept the proportions perfect, no distortions at all. The shadows soften just enough to keep the scene realistic. Now let's compare that to the second image. They are almost identical, just the greenery and the reflections are slightly different, but I think I prefer the first one. Now let's see how that compares to Nano Banana rendering engine. Right, that didn't do really anything to the image. With the image we've got, I would like to test three different presets here. The first one will be to generate the close-up. I wonder what details we can see here. The second one will be the golden hour, so I'm really interested how that may look like. And the third one will be to add people. And what's great about VizMaker, we can actually generate them simultaneously. So we can work on something completely different while you are waiting to generate some previous images. Now we've got the results, and with the close-up, it looks really interesting. And the materials are brilliant. The golden hour one looks absolutely lovely. I love the character and mood of that image, and that will be definitely our image going forward. Our third image with the people looks great. I honestly wasn't expecting that. It looks completely realistic. And this is actually a very good idea. So I will take our golden hour shot and add some people there. So as before, I'm going to the draw section, I'm highlighting our area in red, and I'm describing that I would like to generate some people there. And let's see the results. Okay, it generated people in different places, but actually, that looks even better. I'm absolutely happy with that image, and this will be our final one. Now check out the transformation, and the difference is pretty clear. Before we move on to another render, if you are enjoying this video, please subscribe, comment and give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel to grow. For the render number 4, I'm choosing something really tricky. A 3D model without any textures or colors. As before, I'm using Nano Banana Pro, 2K resolution, and let's generate actually 3 images so we can compare the different results. Wow, the first one is interesting. The second one too, I like it. Oh, and the third one, that's more realistic. I like the surrounding on this one. So definitely our image number 3 will be the one I will go forward with. The colors across the whole scene feel consistent and believable, and I really appreciate that it didn't add some extra elements to the building. And the lighting direction feels very natural for the outdoor scene. But to be honest, I would like to change some materials on the elevation. So for that one, I'm gonna go to the Pinterest and I will find the image I like. You can just simply copy the image and paste it directly to the VizMaker. So Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, job done. So with our image copied here, I'm just gonna describe in the prompt what I would like to achieve. I would like to use the materials from this reference image, obviously to delete the image after, not leave it on the scene, make the window frames black, and add some tall trees in the background. So let's see the results. Okay, that's spot on, it's perfect. To be honest, I would like to soften the character of the building just slightly, so I would like to add timber panels to the first floor. So I'm going to our draw function, I'm gonna highlight that area for the change, and also I'm highlighting the foreground in green. Because the foliage looks really repetitive there, I would like to generate something more realistic. And for this one, I'm gonna generate 2 images so we can compare the results. Okay, the first image is not great, the greenery in the foreground remained the same, and the timber paneling to the first floor just occupied half of the elevation. But with the second one, that's exactly what I wanted. And to be honest, I didn't highlight the second panel on the first floor to be in timber, but AI picked that and generated that there as well. So that's my fault, AI fixed that. I'm happy with that image, and here is the direct comparison so you can see the improvement yourself. Now let's generate the elevation, and they are really difficult for AI because they are flat. But I wanted to see whether VizMaker can add depth without distorting the architectural intent. So let's upload our elevation and let's generate 2 images with Nano Banana Pro. Right, the first image is great, but I would like to keep that view front on this elevation. So the second image is exactly what I wanted to achieve. The vegetation blends nicely with the architecture instead of fighting it, and there is really nice depth to the background trees. It looks presentation ready straight away. There are also 2 changes I would like to do. I would like to upgrade the people to look slightly better. So I'm going to the draw function, highlighting them, describing in the prompt, and this is the result. Okay, they are not massively changed, they got a little bit better, but yeah. The second change is that I'm not entirely happy with the color of the timber on elevation. I would like that to be much darker. And now we've got a satisfying result. That's good. Now what I would like to do is to change the scenery to be in autumn. So I'm gonna select that preset and I will generate 2 different images so we can compare the results. Oh wow, that's great! So the difference between them is that the first image has the green grass, which is a little bit more realistic. But to be honest, I prefer the character of the second image. I think it suits the presentation of the building a little bit more. And I absolutely love how the sunlight behaves here. So this is the final result, and just look at the comparison. Now let's move on to the interiors. Interior renderings are always the bigger challenge, because the lighting has to bounce correctly. Also, colors needs to remain stable, and their surfaces can look very fake if AI pushes too hard. So this section will tell me a lot about how refined the render engine is. So I'm uploading our image, choosing Nano Banana Pro rendering engine, and I would like to generate 3 different images so we can compare the results. Oh wow, they are brilliant! And the difference between the images are very subtle, just like the materials and the bed mostly. So to be honest, I prefer the first image the most, because of that messy bed. It looks very realistic. The lighting feels natural, not exaggerated, and the reflections on glossy surfaces are controlled. The geometry stays perfectly intact, and the soft shadows make the room so realistic. But there are actually 2 elements I would like to upgrade. So for that one, I'm going to the draw section, and as before, you can copy images directly, for example, from Pinterest. So I will paste 2 images here that I would like to be used. I'm just gonna place the image of the plant in the corner and the chandelier on the ceiling. I will describe that in the prompt, and let's generate 2 images. Oh wow, it's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. And between these 2 images, I think I prefer the first one just a little bit more. This is our final image, and just look at the comparison before and after processing. Now I'm uploading our second interior image. And for that one, I would like to generate 2 renders with Nano Banana Pro, 1 render with Flux, and 1 with Nano Banana. So let's again compare the different renderings engines. The first image with Nano Banana, it's not that bad, but you can still see the lines from the SketchUp model, so that's not really great. Now let's see the Flux. It looks more realistic, that's good. I can see few distortions, but there are also no proper shadows or reflections. That looks quite weird. Now let's see 2 images from Nano Banana Pro. That looks much better than Flux image. I love the shadows and the reflections on the surfaces. So what's the difference between 2 Nano Banana Pro images? Okay, slight difference in shadows and the equipment in the kitchen. So I think on this one I prefer the first image much more. So the lighting feels warm and very natural for the indoor space, but the whole scene feels more polished but still grounded in the actual layout. And the light transitions between the bright and shaded areas feel smooth, and the most important, the colors stay consistent with the design intent. So now with the interior done, the image is lacking the view from the window, so I would like to generate some garden behind. Let's describe that in the prompt, and let's generate 3 images. Oh wow, that's perfect! That absolutely suits that image. And out of these 3 images, I think I prefer the most the first one. Alright, so this is the part I'm most curious about. Animations. So VizMaker can animate still renders using several AI engines. So this is huge for architects because traditional animations takes hours, if not days. And with the VizMaker you have everything in one place. All the renderings engines for images and animations. So now this is our entire workflow we created today. You can see all the images, all the steps, and how they were created. We'll start from our second visual, and from the renderings engines, we can choose the Seedance, Kling, Sora 2, and VO. So for that image, I would like to test the Kling and Sora 2. I'm happy to generate just the short animation, so 5 seconds for Kling and 8 seconds for Sora 2. I will use the rotate preset, but I will add to the prompt that I would like the rotation to move towards right. And now, let's see the results. That's not really what I was expecting. I think it's my mistake. I shouldn't add to the prompt that I would like the camera to be moved to the right. So now let's try again, and this time just with the Kling rendering engine. And in the prompt, I'm just describing that I would like to achieve the rotating view around the building. And let's see the results. That's good. The motion is stable, nothing jumps, and the lighting remains consistent throughout the movement. The pacing feels cinematic, not robotic. It's nice. This animation feels professional enough for clients' walkthroughs. Now, what I would like to do is to connect our first exterior scene and the last interior. So I would like to achieve the smooth transition between the scenes so you can go from the exterior to the interior. So for that one, I'm choosing Seedance rendering engine where you can connect 2 different frames. And let's see the results. Right, the first scene is not what I wanted at all. No, not like that. The second one, okay, that feels better, still not so realistic. I will just quickly create a third option. So again, I'm using Seedance rendering engine. I'm just rewriting the prompt slightly to be more precise. Maybe the results will be a little bit better. Okay. It's more or less like it was before, that's slightly better, but definitely not what I wanted. So on this one, I think I'm expecting too much from AI. I think I should have some middle frame, so I can go from the exterior to the middle frame, some maybe entrance part of the building, and then from that to the kitchen. So apart from that, I would like to generate a drone view around the building for our first image. And while this is generating, I will go to our internal shot. And for that one, I'm gonna generate some rotating view around the kitchen. Now I will go to our elevation, and what I would like to achieve is to have the still view, still video, where I can see the people moving and leaves falling off the trees. And VizMaker is amazing, you can actually generate 3 completely different animations at the same time. So now let's see our first animation for the exterior. The colors stay exactly the same as on the still render, and it feels like a polished final output, not an experiment. For something generated from the still image, this looks incredibly stable. It almost feels like it was rendered traditionally, and the camera reveals new details gradually, which is great for storytelling. Now let's look at the interior animation. It keeps the geometry perfectly intact, even while moving. And the animation gives this scene a nice sense of scale. It's really impressive to see how consistent the textures are. I'm happy with the people movement, that's good. But the leaves, they are, well, artificial. They are not as good as they could be. But overall, I love the character and the mood of that animation. And the pace is slow and controlled, perfect for architectural presentations. I like how the lighting direction stays locked in. Nothing glitches. Now let's move on to our next images. For the third exterior, I would like to zoom out from that scene to the drone view above the building. And I'm gonna attempt that again. I would like to connect the exterior view with the second interior. So again, I'm connecting 2 frames with the Seedance, and let's see whether this time it could be a little bit better. And also I will generate something for the interior render, so I would like to turn left into the garden from that bedroom. Now let's see the results. The smooth movement makes the materials feel more realistic. There is no warping or stretching as the camera moves, that's great. And the overall composition looks balanced throughout the shot. I'm absolutely happy with that. Now let's see the exterior animation. That's impressive. That's actually much better than what I was expecting. And the foreground that was generated is just brilliant. The shadows move realistically as the camera shifts. It doesn't add any strange elements during the animation, that's great. The highlights and reflections look consistent from frame to frame. And it has that slow architectural studio style coldness to it. Now let's check out the animation between 2 frames. Yeah. It's kind of similar to what we had previously. That's a little bit better, but I think again, it's my fault for not providing like the third frame between them. Now let's jump into our final image, and for the animations on this one, I would like to create 2 different animations. One will be slow zoom out, and the second one will be the still image with people chatting on the balcony. Wow.
Wow.
It feels like something you would see in the professional architectural video, and the animation really enhances the realism of the render. Everything stays sharp, even during the movement. It makes the model feel more complete, more alive, and it has very cinematic quality to it. I'm absolutely happy with that, so now let's see all the animations being put together. Let's talk pricing. VizMaker uses monthly subscription, and you can also buy additional credits if the standard plans wouldn't be enough for you. And if you want to test it yourself, you can actually start for free.
Oh my god! Wow!
Considering that it includes several renderings engines, material swapping and drawing tools, and obviously animation tools, it's pretty competitive, if not the best. Also, I've got for you a 50% discount on the first month. Just use my code ADRIAN50 at the checkout and the discount will be automatically applied. So that will give you a full month to experiment with this tool properly. After testing the exterior renders, interiors and animations, I must say that VizMaker really surprised me. So the big wins for me are no need for prompts, clean editing tools, stable video generation, the fact you can generate several images at the same time, consistent lighting and character across the scenes, the number and quality of the presets, and finally the fact that it works as a plugin to SketchUp, Revit and 3ds Max. And if you want to see how this compares to other tools, you can watch my video on Render AI where I created a full construction time-lapse. It's right here, go watch it next. So thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.